Modern underground spaces usually start with a massive injection of capital. We rely on heavy machinery tearing out thousands of pounds of rock, followed by fleets of trucks pouring tons of reinforced concrete. Now, strip all of that away. Remove the diesel engines, the supply chains, and the engineering crews, leaving only one person standing in an empty patch of wilderness. The rules of this build are entirely restrictive. The builder will rely exclusively on natural materials found on site, utilizing only basic hand tools to construct a complex structure. This is a solitary commitment spanning a full 365 days of relentless physical labor. The goal is to bypass the typical weekend survival dugout and engineer a massive, fully realized subterranean palace, completely invisible from the surface. Committing a year of your life to this project operates as an extreme stress test of human endurance. It pits primitive engineering directly against the resistance of raw nature. The physical labor begins with a single, repetitive motion, striking the topsoil with a simple hand tool, breaking it loose and hauling it away. This process is known as subtractive architecture. Instead of laying a foundation and adding materials on top, the builder constructs the space by meticulously carving mass out of the earth. This 3D diagram shows the massive block of earth to be removed. The tiny highlighted cube represents a single day's manual excavation limit, about 3 cubic tons. Maintaining that pace month after month is agonizingly slow, as each square foot requires hundreds of heavy swings. Every strike has to be calculated. The builder is carving out exact geometric boundaries that will dictate the permanent structural walls. The initial excavation acts as a high-stakes puzzle of spatial reasoning, where every inch of removed soil permanently sets the dimensions of a complex, multi-room layout. Once the earth is removed, the newly created void introduces an immediate lethal danger: catastrophic cave-ins. This cross-section illustrates the invisible physics at work. Unexcavated topsoil exerts constant downward pressure from the surface and inward pressure from the dirt walls. To counter this, the builder wedges rigid timber support beams into the void, pushing directly back against the soil pressure. Because there are no steel nails or modern fasteners available, these raw natural supports have to be notched and interlocked with absolute precision, using the earth's own weight and friction to hold the skeleton together. Mastering this primitive stabilization is the critical threshold. It neutralizes the crushing weight of the earth and transforms a highly dangerous pit into a viable, permanent architectural shell. With the structure stabilized, the final months of the year pivot entirely away from raw survival and toward aesthetic and functional refinement. The builder gathers the excess excavated earth, hydrating and mixing it to produce a thick mud plaster. Applied by hand, this compound seals the raw dirt, curing into hard, durable walls and floors. Inside the massive single void, he delineates functional zones, creating distinct living areas and dedicated sleeping quarters. Instead of moving furniture in, he carves it directly out of the subterranean walls, shaping beds, shelves, and seating straight from the dense clay. By day 365, the walls show the sharp geometry of smoothly sculpted mud plaster, illuminated by soft natural light filtering down from a surface shaft. The fanatical focus on these finishing details, the symmetry of the arches and the polish of the floors, defines the structure as a palace rather than a simple shelter. From the surface level, a casual observer would walk right past it. The sprawling complex beneath their feet remains completely obscured by the natural landscape. A moment of wonder. Stepping below ground reveals the true scale of the interior, a vast, multi-room labyrinth of carved earth and heavy timber that stands as the visual culmination of a full year's labor. We live in an era built around instant results and automated convenience, where massive structures rise in weeks through prefabricated parts and mechanized fleets. To keep digging through a rainy 4th month or a freezing 8th month requires a commitment to a result that won't be visible for another 200 days. Facing the same stone walls and the same heavy soil every morning requires the builder to prioritize a distant vision over immediate comfort. This subterranean build is proof that basic tools and a year of focus can still yield a complex, multi-room home that rivals the permanence of modern construction.